All right, guys, welcome to lesson 12 concept video. We are going to be practicing multiplying our decimals by a single digit. But first we're going to just start by working on the skills we practice on in fluency, and that's going to help us make our math problems a little simpler today because it's just going to be worrying about multiplying, and then we can use our units to help figure out where the decimals should go. So hopefully it'll make it a little bit more straightforward and simple for us and our brains. So to show you what I mean, let's just try, let me get a pen color that will actually show up. 31 times 4. So we're doing whole numbers first. 3 tens, 1 1 times 4 1. So 31 times 4. So I'm going to quickly give myself an area model for this. Well, I have two places represented in my number. So I'm going to do 3 tens, 1 1. So that's 31 on top, and I'm multiplying that by 4. Well, 4 times 3 is 12, and that would be 12 tens. So 12 tens is 120. 4 times 1 is 4, and that would be 4 ones. So if we add these back together, we have 124. Okay, so same numbers, same digits, I should say. We're going to use the 3 and the 1, but this time we're going to shift those over as ones and tens. So let me clear this. So I'm going to do 3 and 1/10 times 4. And you're going to see that nothing changes when except where the decimal goes and what units we're working with. So again, we have two places. We have 3 ones this time and 1/10. And this time we are multiplying it by 4 again. So 4 times 3 is always 12, right? So it's 12 ones. And 4 times 1 is 4 tenths. So the area model, the inside of it looks exactly the same, except the units are different. So if the units are different, that means the standard form looks different. Well, 12 ones looks like that, plus 4 tenths, so 0.4. So this would look like 12.4. Great job. So I should have left that other problem up. So let me just quickly give ourselves another page to work with so I can go back to that page. So this time, whoops, well, let's do black or orange background, and we'll use black on top of it, very Halloween-y. So let's do same digits. So we're just going to change the unit, 0.31 times 4. So, okay, two places in the number that we're multiplying. So let's represent that with the area model. So we have 3 tenths this time and 100. And we're multiplying that by 4. Well, 4 times 3, just like before, is 12. But this time our unit's tenths. And 4 times 100 is 4, but the unit this time is hundredths. So now, like I said, the area model, let me go back one page, is exactly the same. The inside is exactly the same, but the units are different, which meant the standard form is going to be different. Whoops, I didn't mean to hit the question mark. Let's hit that. So again, the unit is different. So that means our standard form is going to be different. So 12 tenths, if I visualize that in the place value chart, that would be 1 1 and 2 tenths plus 400. So that would be 0.04, which would equal 1.24 or 1 and 24 hundredths. Great job. So let me just pause this real quick. Did it pause? Oh, did it pause? Let me. All right. Great job. So now that I found where the pause button was, and you saw me struggle with that, I'm back. And so just to think, when we used unit form, we are allowed ourselves just to do simple multiplication, and then we use the units to then convert it back into standard form and figure out where the decimal goes. So we're going to use that practice again. Let's clear this page. And this time, let's think about 5 1/10 times 6. But this time we're not going to use the area model. This time we're going to use standard algorithm. But let's think about converting it to unit form to make our lives easy. So if we convert this to unit form and we go to the smallest unit, we're going to have 51/10. And then we're going to multiply it by 6. So now we're seeing something that we worked with in 4th grade. Well, we do 6 times 1 first. Well, that would be 6. And then we do 6 times 5 tenths, which would be 30 tenths, or 306. But remember, our unit needs to come down, so we're having 306 tenths. Okay, I'm going to quickly draw a place value chart to help us visualize this. Our decimals here, we have 306. We know we need to regroup these. 0 will come here, 3 over here. Okay, so our answer, 306 tenths, will be 30 6/10. Great job. So let's keep trying this a few more times. Okay, well, let's do 11.4. And this time we're going to multiply it by 4. Let's just, before we even start, let's estimate. What do we think this answer is approximately going to be? Well, we have 11 ones and we have 4. Well, 11 times 4 will be 44. So it better be a little bit more than 44, right? Because it's got 4 tenths with it. And then if I did 4 tenths in my head times 4, that would be 16 tenths. Okay. So let's decompose this down to the tenths. So we'll have 114 tenths. And we're going to multiply this by 4. Remember, the unit's going to end up coming down at the end. So I'm just going to represent that down here right now. And let's go ahead and multiply. Well, 4 times 4 is 16 ones. So I regroup. And then I have 4 times 110, which is 4 tenths, plus this 110 down here that I needed to regroup, which is 5 tenths. And then I got my last 4 times 1, and 4 times 100 is 400. So my answer is going to be 456 tenths. Now, if I visualize my place value chart and I shift those over, I can know exactly where my decimal is going to go, and it's 45 6/10. Great, let's do one more like this. All right, 7 8/10 times, let's do it different, times 3 this time. Okay, let's convert it into tenths. Or actually, before we even do that, let's estimate. Well, 7 8/10 is really close to 8 whole numbers, right? 8 ones. So 8 times 3 is 24. So it should be a little less than 24. Okay. Well, let's convert this into tenths and decompose it. So it should be 78 tenths. And we're going to multiply that by 3. So remember, our units come down. So I was trying to change my highlighter. We do 3 times 8, which is 24. So I regroup. Well, 3 times 7, right, will be 21 plus 2 more is 23. So this answer should be 23 and 4/10. And if I visualize the place value chart and help regroup it to show standard form, I know that my decimal will go between the 3 and the 4. So 23 and 4/10. So again, converting into unit form allows us just to make our brains simply use basic multiplication that we used to use in 4th grade, and then we use our unit form knowledge to help convert back into decimals. Great job. So let me just pause this real quick and get my next problems ready. All right, I'm back. Let's clear this. And let's do a few more practices before we move to the problem set. This time, we're going to do a couple both ways. We're going to do it vertically, converting to unit form into the smallest unit. And then we're also going to practice a few the same way with area model. And then when we go to the problem set, you can choose which method that you prefer. I personally like them both, but because they both use unit form, but I believe that the vertical method of using unit form is a little bit faster and more efficient. So that's the one I would prefer to use. But again, that's why we love math. Math, you can solve things in multiple ways. So let's get started again. And we're going to use 3 and 12 hundredths. And this, we're going to multiply this by 4. So first, we're going to do it with the area model. So I see 3 units. So I see 3 ones, 1/10, 2 hundredths, right? And then I'm going to multiply that by 4. So 4 times 3 is 12. Make sure my unit comes down. 4 times 1 is 4. Make sure my unit comes down. 4 times 2 is 8. Again, we'll keep my units. And then I can show standard form down below and add those back together. So this should equal 12 and 40. Oh, let me get this out of the way. 12 and 48 hundredths. Right? So let's show that stacked vertically and see how that works for us. Again, we're going to decompose this all the way down to our hundredths. So we're going to have 312 hundredths. And we're going to multiply this by 4. So we know our answer is going to be in the hundredths. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. So it's 1,248 hundredths. I know that hundredths have 2 places after the decimal, so it'll be 12 and 48. Yep, same answer, right? So let's do a couple more, both methods, and you can start figuring out which is your preferred style. So let me expand my toolbox so I can clear this. All right, let's try again. This time I'll use purple. All right, well, let's do 3 and 22 hundredths times 5. Ooh, I'm not sure I like the purple off it. I'm going to use it, but I'm not sure. It makes my eyes funny. All right, so let's do the vertical method first on this one. And let's convert it all to hundredths. So 322 hundredths. And we're multiplying that by 5. We know our answer is going to keep the same unit. Right? 5 times 2 is 10, so I'm going to have to regroup. 5 times 2 again is 10, plus the 1 is 11. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1 more is 16. So this answer should be 1,610 hundredths. And I know hundredths have two places after the decimal, so I know my decimal is going to go right there. It's between the 6 and the 1, so it'll be 16.10. Great. Let's see if we get the same answer when we stack when we do the area model. So I have 3 places. I have 3 ones, right? 2/10, and then 2 hundredths. Let me get this out of the way. And multiplying that by 5. 5 times 3 ones is 15 ones. 5 times 2 tenths is 10 tenths. And 5 times 2 hundredths is 10 hundredths. So if we convert those, we know that's 15 plus, well, 10 in the tenths place is really just 1.0. So we're at 16, and then 10 hundredths we know is 0.10 or 1/10. So our answer, 15 plus 1 is 16, plus 1/10 is 16.1. Whoops, sorry about that. Get out of here. So yeah, same answer. Last one, we're going to practice one more, and then we are going to go to our problem set. Great job. And this time I'm going to go to black because I did not like that purple. All right. 33 and 42 hundredths times 6. I'm going to pause, and you're going to pause, and while we're both paused, choose your preferred method and try to solve this by yourself. I'm going to come back with both methods done, and you get to see and check your work. So again, choose your preferred method. You're either going to convert it and decompose to the smallest unit and vertically do them, or you're going to use unit form and do the area model. All right, let's check your work. I noticed something while I was doing this, that I find that the regrouping on the, oh my goodness, Mr. Briggs trying to use this stylus and it's not working for me over there on my menu. I find the regrouping on the vertical method to be much more manageable for my brain. It seems simpler for my brain than the area model method. Now, that may be true for your brain, it may not be, but hopefully either way that you got to the correct answer of 20 and 52 hundredths. All right, so now let's go ahead and get our problem sets out and practice these skills on our problem set. Nice job.